cream. Hello dears, Buttercup the Baking Spaniel here, bringing you another delicious recipe to try. Today's cake is a type of cake that goes by many different names, but is unmistakable in its look. Whether you know it as a Swiss roll, jelly roll, roll cake, cake roll, cream roll, roulade, or any number of other names, this dessert is immediately recognizable with its distinctive swirl of sponge cake and filling. We will be making a beautifully light and airy vanilla sponge filled with a scrumptious mixed berry and whipped cream filling. All right, let's get ready to roll. We will begin by making the vanilla sponge cake. The recipe I will be using has been slightly adapted from a vanilla Swiss roll recipe from, and pardon my language, damnspicy.com. Oh my! Well, it certainly is a darn good recipe that I found easy to follow, and I will put a link to the original recipe down below. In a large bowl, combine 4 egg yolks and 40 grams of granulated sugar. We will beat these together for about 1 minute until they are nice and combined. Add in 40 milliliters of vegetable oil, 40 milliliters of whole milk, and 3/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Beat until well combined. Sift in 75 grams of all-purpose flour, and 10 grams of cornstarch. I didn't set my table up very well. There we go. Mix together just until it is fully incorporated and smooth. Beautiful. In a separate bowl, we will add 4 egg whites. Whip the egg whites until they become frothy. Add in 1/4 teaspoon apple cider vinegar and 40 grams of granulated sugar. Continue mixing until the mixture becomes very fluffy and forms soft peaks. Now we just need to add the egg white mixture into our batter in 3 separate additions. Fold in very gently to avoid knocking too much air out. Because there are no other raising agents such as baking powder or baking soda, this cake relies on the meringue to help leaven it. This is why you need to be careful not to deflate the meringue as you are mixing. When finished, your batter should look very smooth with no streaks throughout. Our batter is ready for the oven, so let's prepare our baking tin. I have here a jelly roll tin, which is 10 inches by 15 inches. It has been lined with parchment paper to keep the cake from sticking. We will carefully pour our batter into the tin. Look how fluffy it looks. Don't forget to spread it out nice and even. This cake will need to bake at 375 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 190 degrees Celsius, for 10 to 12 minutes. You will know when it is done when the top is a light golden color and it springs back when you gently poke it. Now this next part will require some rather precise timing, so we will need to make sure everything is ready before the cake comes out of the oven. Lay a clean kitchen towel on a flat surface and sprinkle it evenly with about 50 grams of granulated sugar. That's about 1/4 cup. Sprinkle, 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 sprinkle. It's important to make sure the surface is very evenly coated because this is what's going to keep your cake from sticking to the towel when we roll it up. Once your cake has finished baking, remove it from the oven and drop it onto a countertop from about 1 inch high. This should help keep your cake from shrinking slightly as it cools. Now we need to quickly but carefully invert the cake onto the prepared kitchen towel. Gently peel off the parchment paper, and while the cake is still warm, roll it completely using the kitchen towel. This step is very important as it will create a memory of the shape and prevent the sponge from cracking once you add the filling. Leave the cake in the roll shape and set it aside to cool while we work on the fillings. Let's start by making a delicious berry sauce. In a large saucepan, we will combine 120 milliliters of water, 30 milliliters of lemon juice, 50 grams of granulated sugar, 15 grams of cornstarch, and 342 grams of fresh or frozen berries. I am using a combination of frozen blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries. Let's bring this to a boil over medium heat while stirring frequently. Now, there is a common misconception that you should always use fresh fruit over frozen. However, in many cases, that is not true. Frozen fruit is typically frozen at its peak ripeness and may even help it to retain more nutrients. Frozen fruits do tend to develop a softer texture once thawed, so may not be the best suited for certain bakes. However, in this case, frozen berries work perfectly well. Once the mixture is boiling, reduce the heat to medium-low. Then cook while stirring until the berries break down and the sauce thickens. This should take around 3 to 5 minutes. Next, strain the mixture through a fine mesh sieve and then place in the refrigerator to cool. We will also be making a lovely whipped cream to pair with our berry sauce. When making whipped cream, it helps to have all your tools and ingredients cold before starting. This will help your cream whip up faster and with more volume. I like to place my bowl and beaters in the freezer for about 5 to 10 minutes before I begin. To our bowl, we will add 180 milliliters of heavy cream, 12 grams of powdered sugar, and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. Beat just until soft peaks form. You must be cautious to not over-whip your cream as it can split and become grainy. Oh dear! Let's set aside about 80 grams of this whipped cream into a separate bowl. This will be used for the topping later. To the remaining whipped cream, add in 100 grams of the berry sauce. I set it up so the camera could see the numbers, but it's very hard for me to see. Well, that was silly. Mix together until just combined, being careful not to deflate your whipped cream. Oh, also, be sure that your berry sauce has cooled down completely. You don't want it to melt your cream. Would you look at this gorgeous color? And now we can finally fill our wonderful cake roll. Gently unroll the cooled sponge, and then we'll spread the filling evenly over top. Then we just need to carefully roll the cake back up. I'm going to use the parchment paper to help a little bit. Would you look at that? Now don't worry if some of the filling ends up spilling out a little bit. Your roll will still be beautiful and delicious. This cake will need to set before serving, so let's wrap it up and chill in the refrigerator for at least 2 to 3 hours. Once chilled, it's time to decorate it for serving. Let's take a better look at our swirl by cutting off just a little bit of each end. Oh, there it goes. Oh, would you look at just how gorgeous that is? I've taken the remaining whipped cream and placed it in a piping bag. I'm just going to pipe some fun decorations on the top. Now doesn't that look nice? Now we just need to cut the cake into small slices and then serve it with a side of that lovely berry sauce. Well, goodness gracious, isn't our cake simply stunning? The sponge is so light and tender, and it pairs perfectly with the tart and creamy filling. The sweetness is not too overwhelming. It's just a very pleasing treat all around. You simply must give it a try, and be sure to let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this recipe, be sure to check out some of my other videos, such as my raspberry curd tart or strawberry lemon cupcakes. Much love to all of you. Until next time, mwah! I'm a little dog who likes berries and cream.
Open up in there! It's the main police! You can't use this old meme!
Oh no!
Get out of here!